Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. Vice President Valentine here. Trustee McNow.
Here.
Trustee Headland.
Here.
Trustee Clemenson.
Here.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the agenda as written.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We don't have to discuss anything, right? A couple of changes, but, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The next Board of Education meeting will be held on April 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. here in the Middle School, High School Library at the Haldane Central School District. There is still time if anybody wants to run for a seat on the Board of Education. Petitions are available in the district office or by contacting our District Clerk, Megan Shields. And the last thing, I wanted to acknowledge the bittersweet weekend that for the boys varsity basketball team, which lost in the state championship finals by 3 points. And while I'm sure that they wanted a different outcome, I think it's fair to say that their board and their community couldn't be more proud of them, how they played, and the program, as built by Coach Vergidamo. And, they've definitely have served to inspire the next iteration, hopefully, of boys coming up. I know that the 5th, 6th, and 7th grade boys, there's a group in each of those grades who are, hoping at this point to vie for a spot on the bench, and they're playing AAU and they're playing CYO. So, thank you to the team for giving us something to cheer on and look forward to. And with that, we're going to switch gears this coming weekend to the musical, the Haldane High School Musical Chicago, which is exciting, another extracurricular wonder to look forward to. So I look forward to the next meeting, speaking about that and talking about our experience watching. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valentine. And yes, looking forward to Chicago this weekend. Got to read an article in a local paper a bit about some of the individuals who are students who are involved in the play, get to work with as part of learning the production. And it's just great. Our kids are exposed to so many talented individuals in their learning, and that's reflected very much in the production. And I want to acknowledge also the boys basketball team. It was a fantastic run, and to have advanced to the state finals 2 years in a row is just absolutely incredible. And I know this particular year, given the run they went on last year, everyone was hoping to come home with a state championship, and we fell just short. But our team, as you said, represented the community incredibly well. And I had a chance to talk to Coach Vergidamo a little bit, not just about the game, but I know he was incredibly proud of how the team not only represented themselves on the court, but in all of the activity around advancing to the finals, in the restaurants, at the hotel, throughout the community, because they had a long wait between the time they got there and each game that they played, just representing Haldane exceptionally. And so it's a tough loss. That being said, John Wooden was a renowned basketball coach, Hall of Fame basketball coach, and he would say you can win even when your opponent outscores you. And in many ways, this team won. And one of the things that I really came to appreciate, and I know many did, was how they played the game, that they really played as a team. And you can be a part of a team, but that doesn't mean like you're acting as a team. I say you be on a team, doesn't mean you're acting as a team. These, all the players, the guys who are on the court and off the court, acted as a team. And that's something that I hope I think we all hope that our kids experience through their engagement in athletics and that they take with them for the rest of their lives. So congratulations to Coach. It was a great season, and all the families that were involved in Haldane basketball this year. It was really exceptional. Just one last note for me. I had the chance to sit in today on our elementary teachers. There were a couple of secondary teachers there as well, professional learning around the science of reading. And Josh and Christine have shared a little bit about this work this school year. We've engaged in our own professional learning as an administrative group, but I got to sit in on a teacher professional learning today in this room. And I just was so impressed with the depth of dialogue that our teachers were engaged in to ensure that their practices are aligned with the science behind reading instruction, and they were examining their current practice against what they were learning and grappling with that and the implications, not just in their classrooms, but for their entire school. And that's work that they're going to continue to engage in, but that's the essence of what it means to be a learning community. And I thought that our elementary teachers modeled that really well today in their work with the Reading League. And thanks to Josh and Christine for the work that they're doing to bring our teachers together in such a way. Subs are tough, and I know we have other staff members who are covering, so we've really tried to create a space for our teachers to engage in this learning throughout the course of this school year. That concludes my remarks.
Great, thank you. That actually brings us to the first communication from the public. So the Haldane Board of Education desires and values input from the entire school community. This first public comment session is reserved for comments on special presentations and active agenda items. For those who wish to address the board, please sign in and state your name for the record. Please keep your remarks to 3 minutes or less. Disparaging remarks and discussion of district personnel are strongly discouraged. Although we do not engage in dialogue, we are listening. Please leave your contact information with our district clerk, Megan Shields, for prompt follow-up from the board president or superintendent. And we have no one here. So we're moving on to our information reports, which are here, and they're really dense. They're good, if you guys read them, there's a lot in there. Consent agenda minutes. May I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. These are from the Board of Education minutes from March 5th. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, consent agenda financial. May I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments, any?
Just one, a reminder for the board, we've discussed this already, that you're authorizing the movement of funds from repair reserve to capital reserve, and then in May, voters will hopefully authorize the use of those funds to replace the turf on our athletic field. And because this is a area of our school that has already been worked upon, as it relates to SECRA, we can utilize the process that the board or the district went through for SECRA 12 years or so ago, because we're not adjusting any of that area. We're simply, again, pulling the carpet up and replacing it. So that's item 3 here.
Just a quick question. Remind me why it needs to be moved to capital from repair, because some people would say you're repairing it.
So in our discussion, it does not qualify as a repair.
Got it. Fine. No, great. And the other thing, I know that there's a acceptance of from the Booster Club. They're super excited about that and interested in making sure that they hear about it. How does that normally work after we vote to approve these? What's the communication back to the groups?
The
or
district clerk will
Fantastic.
generate notices to any community organization that the board approved their grant.
donation or grant?
Yeah, or donation.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Consent agenda personnel. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion here?
None on those. Thank you.
Okay. May, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That brings us to unfinished business. The approval of the school calendar for next school year, 2024-2025.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby adopts the 2024-2025 Haldane School District calendar as presented.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. There were no changes. We didn't get a lot of feedback, right?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. New business. CSE, CPSE recommendations.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the recommendations of the Committees on Special Education and Preschool Special Education as presented.
May I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Approval to award capital referendum 2019 Phase 3, the Mabel Merritt ceiling and floor replacement to Transition Builders, Inc.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby awards the Capital Referendum 2019 Phase 3 Mabel Merritt ceiling and floor replacement contract to Transitional Builders in the amount of $273,535 and authorizes the superintendent to sign the construction contract on behalf of the district.
May I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Just
Yep,
if I may,
yep.
the board members may recall that in 2019, the community did approve a small bond proposition. Included in that work were several projects that included the replacement of the windows in the elementary school, some small site work around campus. One component of that project as well was abatement that needed to occur, asbestos removal in the floors and the ceilings of the Mabel Merritt building. This is that work. It's the last component of that project that's scheduled to take place. It's scheduled to occur this summer, and we are awarding the bid on that work.
After this, are we done with that, completion of that bond?
We
or the
are,
efforts?
and I'm reminded that Mr. Walsh, and while he was here, did have a spreadsheet of the status of the various projects related to that. And I think we'll do our best to locate that spreadsheet just so the board can have a perspective. There were many components. I've highlighted a couple of the big picture ones, but many components of that bond referendum that are now complete. So I want the board to have a summary.
And just as we think about Mabel Merritt as a destination either for programs or for staffing, just as this is now will be compliant in one way or another so that we can move forward with whatever we want to continue to do there.
Correct. So assuming probably we're leaning more towards the long-term use of that building, let's hope for office as opposed to instructional, because we're trying to move students out of that building for instructional use. This is, again, an improvement to the building and removes what could be a hazard in the building for any individual who would potentially be in it, whether that be for office use or for instructional use.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next resolution calls for a roll call vote. This is a resolution calling for the inclusion of Proposition 2 in notice of annual district meeting on May 21st, 2024.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the resolution to include Proposition 2 in the notice of the annual district meeting on May 21st, 2024, as written.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Vice President Valentine,
Yes.
Trustee McNown,
Yes.
Trustee Headland,
Yes.
Trustee Clemenson.
Yes.
Okay. This is the resolution calling for the inclusion of Proposition 3 in notice of annual district meeting on May 21st, 2024.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the resolution to include Proposition 3 in the notice of the annual district meeting on May 21st, 2024, as written.
May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Oh, yep, yes.
So during the administration's recommended budget, we outlined the scope of this work as not only being the turf replacement, but also the replacement of a fence on the softball field. Between then and now, a large tree has fallen on the fence at the softball field. I verified there were no chainsaw marks on that tree. But that being said, it requires now an emergency use of funds to, I would say, repair the fence, replace the fence, so that our girls softball season's not interrupted. So that has been removed from the proposition now. Proposition 3 will be the turf field replacement.
Great.
Okay. Vice President Valentine,
Yes.
Trustee McNow,
Yes?
Trustee Headland,
Yes.
Trustee Clemenson.
Yes.
Okay.
Miss that tree.
It was a good tree. All right, our last one, right? This is a resolution calling for the annual district meeting vote on propositions and trustee elections on May 21st, 2024.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the resolution calling for the annual district meeting vote on propositions and trustee elections on May 21st, 2024, as written.
May I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Vice President Valentine,
Yes.
Trustee McNow,
Yes?
Trustee Headland,
Yes.
Trustee Clemenson.
Yes.
All right, well, it's our second opportunity for the public to comment. I don't think there's anyone here, so board reflections, if anyone has any.
Yeah, I attended the middle school orientation last week. It was great to see Dr. Seelke back in the room, and just see the team at work as they introduce some of us who don't currently have students in the middle school or high school into what that might portend, including, just the scare tactics that come along with warning us that adolescence is going to be very difficult in the household. So, yeah, that was good. Quite chilling. It was a chilled room, I have to say. But it was very exciting at the same time, and it's it's thrilling to think of these 60 kids or so traveling together to this big step, and now I'm taking that journey from the inside instead of the outside, and it's wonderful. Again, another milestone. So I'm glad to take that
Another
journey.
hour
Yeah.
earlier in the morning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just say I had that chance to travel up for the basketball games. It was phenomenal. I'm always impressed at the number of teachers and staff that go and attend. I think it's remarkably supportive of them and sort of befits the community setting that we have here. And again, great kids, great, not the outcome we wanted, but great kids. It's fantastic. Shifting completely, I'm always reminded when we get to these props that the Haldane School District includes part of Dutchess County, which always just strikes me as bizarre, but it does for those of you who are out there. So always interesting, but thank you.
I was just going to comment. Obviously, the game we watched at home, right? So my kids were glued to it both Friday and Saturday. And you had mentioned that it would spur encouragement in younger programs. On Monday, the basketball at the rec was packed, which was fantastic. That's cool. And so, yes, it does. It is a great feeder for the whole program. So kudos to those kids. Being able to be in that game is incredible, and represent the community so well. Another shout out to the work being done on the softball field, obviously. So I think Tim Merritt is the right name, who's now taking, who's now working on that field, has been doing a great job, despite that beautiful tree coming down. So, but it's starting to shape up real nice. So kudos to him.
Dr. Benante?
I have no further remarks. Thank you.
I guess I move to adjourn the meeting. Do I have to get a motion for that?
Yes.
You get a
That
second.
would be
Or a
for
and a second. We'll just throw in a
All
second.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, please.
Good.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Okay, good, thank you.